much, but it's dedicated to Gaywhisperguy. He made a comment that he liked Ed, Ed, and Eddie, the cartoon, and that was my weak attempt at copying the whistle, the intro. Of course, the music didn't go with it, so if you don't know the cartoon, you're not gonna. It's probably not gonna make a lot of sense. Even if you do, it still may not make a lot of sense. But that's for you, guy. You seem like a very nice guy. Okay, moving on. I buckled a little bit and relented a tiny bit with my friend Dave from the last video. As I stated, he called and I put the clip on there. I didn't talk to him, but I sent him a text and said that I might get a hold of him over the weekend, but I need to think things through a little bit. And when my wife got home, we talked about it a little bit more. And she said basically that she wasn't going to stand in the way, but I probably should trust him, which obviously I can't. And after 22 years of friendship, you think that trust would be in there. It should be one of the most prudent aspects of a friendship, any friendship, but especially one that old. But we'll see how it goes, I guess. And this video is entitled Thinking, Always Thinking, because that's me. I am always, my brain's always active. Even when I sleep, I dream constantly. I used to try to keep a dream diary a few years back, and I quit it after about a month because I had 75 dreams written down in 30 days. And they're so detailed. Sometimes the dreams follow, what I was thinking about earlier in the day, which is typical. You think about something and then it gets filed into your subconscious, and then when you enter REM sleep, it comes out in your dreams. Sometimes it works that way with me too, but I usually put a ton of details surrounding one small thing, and it's usually a bunch of people that I make up, places, complex situations, and I really don't know if this is good or bad. I know REM sleep is absolutely necessary for your survival, but sometimes I dream so much, I think it wakes me up. And when I wake up the next day, I often have projects in mind as soon as I open my eyes. Yesterday morning, I woke up with a poem in my head, and I was on about the second stanza before I even got out of bed. And I'll just say that I haven't actually written it out yet, but the title is Aaron Under the Sycamore. But no thoughts about it beforehand. I just woke up and it was there. It's going to be about a child that's being abused by her father. And as I've stated, I write a lot of short stories. I have since I was a child. Some stories will float in my head for 10 years before I write them. So, I'm not sure if it's a gift or a curse to be thinking so much. But my mother said even as a baby I didn't sleep that much. And I was not really considered a hyperactive child, but I've definitely had a lot of energy in my life. And it slowed down as I entered my 30s, but the brain is definitely still active. People have often told me that I should have been a teacher, but I just don't know if I have the patience for such things. his psychology classes that intelligence is not based the way it used to be based when they did IQ tests in the 50s and 60s. There's several forms of intelligence. Emotional intelligence, for example, that's outside the old-fashioned way of thinking about intelligence. Intelligence definitely is not based on learning intelligence alone. And to go outside this psychology book, I'm sure common sense would play into most people's ideas of intelligence. Yeah, but I don't think that I've ever really met somebody quite like me. And I know that sounds arrogant. I don't mean it to be. I would say probably my father is probably the closest rendition to me. But as I said, he has the intelligence and inquisitiveness that I have. His brain's still working, at least on part of mine, and he's almost 56. But as I've also stated, he's basically an emotional cripple. And I'm not like that at all. So, and I'm seeing a lot of my qualities in my son. He's not all me, of course. I mean, he's got his mother's qualities too. But the thinking all the time, the near photographic memory that I have. At 5 years old, he started getting this, and he'll remember things for 6 months, and just some small little thing that you told him, and didn't particularly pertain to him, and he'll remember it, and he'll quote you, and he'll, good example, just real quickly, I'm interested in underground shelters. I think they're neat, for various reasons, not really because it's in the world, but even for like a tornado shelter, the nicer ones that are set up like a house. I called somebody on the West Coast about a shelter, and the guy quickly turned the phone conversation into a lecture about the end of the world, and must have told me 7 or 8 ways that the world's going to end in the next couple of years. And of course, it was probably just a way of scaring me into trying to buy some of his products, because he had everything you could think of for survival products. But anyway, eventually, after talking for 5, 6, 7 minutes without letting me say a word, I finally hung up on the guy. And I'm like, this guy's crazy. Yeah, he's talking about the end of the world, and I just said it in passing. And that was several months ago, and my son brought it up this morning, just out of the blue. And actually, he didn't bring it out of the blue because I said something about something being crazy, just kind of joking, and he goes, oh yeah, like that guy that you talked to about the end of the world. Just an example of how acute his mind is already. And another funny example, I like the song Fool on the Hill by the Beatles, and I started playing it quite a bit here. It's probably been 1 or 2 months ago I started playing it. As I said, that I came across it in a movie. He's heard it a few times. The song is older than I am, yet he was singing it this morning, word for word, and he even had the melody right in his voice. He floors me sometimes. I talk about myself thinking, always thinking. My son's gonna have even more abilities, I'm sure, than I do. And maybe that's right. Maybe that's the way it should be in the next generation. They should get qualities of both parents and a little something of their own. So, I consider myself to have a lot of talent, but I bet he surpasses me. For that I have no doubt. So, he's already definitely showing signs. Actually, he's a pretty good artist too, for 5. And showing the capacity to tell stories like I do. And I'm very proud of him. Okay, it is 11 o'clock in the morning on Saturday, and I think I'm going to go do something with my day. Not sure what yet. Maybe try to contact a friend or something. My wife is down at her mother's for the day. She generally goes about every Saturday, but she didn't go last week because we went to the Tulip Festival. So, right now I have the house to myself, and I don't know yet what I'm gonna do, but I'm sure I'll find something to do. It's wet and cold out today, so not sure how much outdoor things I'm gonna be doing. And I actually got the extended forecast for my camp trip, and it's gonna be cold. It's not gonna be too bad for a daytime high in the low 70s, but the nighttime low is gonna be around 50, and we're tent camping, so I told my friend Mike that somebody's gonna have to do what the cavemen and the Native Americans did, and they're going to have to be the fire tender. Basically, in prehistoric and earlier times, primitive men did not have the ability to make fire themselves, so they had to rely on natural ways of fire, like a lightning strike that started a prairie fire. Then they had to capture the fire and keep it in some kind of a fire pit, and someone had to constantly be fueling the fire, because if it went out, they had no way to restart it without nature. So just kind of a little pun, really. And but I'm like, we're gonna need that heat. Otherwise, we're gonna bring the space eater, which is quite silly. But otherwise, I don't know. I guess I'm gonna be wearing long johns and a winter coat. But I'm going because it's been planned for a while, quite a while. So, all right, everyone, take care, and I hope everybody has a great weekend. And thank you as always for listening. Goodbye.